So I muted myself, sorry. If you want to use the playlist, go ahead and press play now. We're going to start out in a pose called Makrasana, crocodile pose. So place your blanket to pad your knees onto the middle of your mat, and then take the bolster or your rolled up blanket and place it horizontally near the edge of your mat. And you're going to rest your ankles on top of the bolster. Your knees are going to come onto the mat. You'll come forward onto your belly. Bring yourself onto your forearms, palms together. Rest the forehead on top of the fingers. Slowly start to take deep breaths in through your nose and long, slow breaths back out through the nose. And as you come into this pose, just start to arrive in your body. Feel any sort of sensations you may be feeling at this moment. Feel where your body may be holding tension. It may be in the legs. It may be in the chest. It may be in your hips. It may be in your neck. With every inhale, breathe into these areas of tension and sigh them away on your exhale. And just notice as you're breathing, taking deep breaths in through your nose, into your belly, the body feels as though it lifts off the earth on your inhale and falls back down to the earth on your exhale. At first, it might feel slightly uncomfortable on the belly, on the rib cage, but as you start to release the tension and relax into the pose, draw your attention onto your breath, it may become easier to relax. Draw a connection to your breath. You continue to draw your awareness onto your breath, onto your body. Notice the place where the earth ends and your body begins. Send your mind to that line in between the earth and your body and feel it start to dissolve. The body starts to melt into the earth into the body. Feel as though the entire body is breathing. In yoga, there's a discipline that we practice called satya. Satya means truth in every sense of the word. Your body will only ever tell you the truth. If at any point during this practice you start to experience pain rather than discomfort, that's your body's way of asking you to stop. Just know that there is always a modification to better suit your body's needs. You can always rest when you need to. There's another discipline that we practice called Ahimsa. And Ahimsa means to do no harm. And another translation is kindness in every sense of the word. And these two disciplines go hand in hand. When your body sends you these messages, show yourself kindness and allow yourself to take these breaks without judgment. Today might feel different than yesterday, and it won't be the same as tomorrow. Your focus is on your breath, and just notice if thoughts keep on coming into your mind at this moment, memories from your past, ideas about the future. Allow them to come and go without judgment. And always draw your focus back onto the present moment, your breath. Slowly start to lift yourself up out of this pose, removing the bolster or the blanket out from underneath your ankles. You can set it aside. We won't use it again until later if you need it. And then sit down, sit back into your child's pose. You can spread your knees wide, your hips come onto your ankles, walk your hands forward, tent up onto your fingertips, and take a deep breath into your upper back. You can spider walk your fingers forward, draw your shoulders down away from your ears, and then walk your hands all the way over towards the right, placing your left hand on top of the right hand. Energize your left hip back. Draw your gaze underneath your left armpit and try and turn your left armpit down towards the mat, breathing deeply into the left side lung. We're starting to stretch into our intercostal muscles. And stretching these muscles helps expand your rib cage, allowing you to draw in more breath. So we're trying to make the length of our inhales and our exhales even to each other. Of course, we're not trying to force anything. We're allowing it to come naturally. Walk your hands back into the middle, tent back up onto the fingertips, spider walk the fingers forward again, breathing into your upper back. And then walk your hands all the way over towards the left, right hand on top of the left hand. Energize your right hip back. Look underneath the right armpit. Draw that armpit down towards the mat and breathe deeply into the right side lung. So as I try to make my breath even to each other, I like to assign a count of 4. Inhaling for 1, 2, 3, 4. And exhaling for 1, 2, 3, 4. Walk your hands back into the center. Tent back up onto the fingertips. Walk the fingers forward, shoulders away from the ears. Breathe into your upper back. Of course, if that pace of breathing was too fast or too slow for you, go at the pace your body and your breath dictates. Now let's all come onto our hands and our knees. We'll take a few rounds of cat-cow. So spread your fingers wide, press down into the mat. The hands are right below your shoulders. The knees are below your hips. As you inhale, lift your chest, lift your tailbone, look forward. Exhale, round your spine, drop your tailbone, drop your head. Cat pose. Inhale, lift back into cow pose. Press your shoulder blades into your back. Exhale, round the spine, come back into cat pose, lifting the belly button up towards the spine. So we'll take a few more rounds of cat-cow, inhaling for cow and exhaling for cat. And then you can start to introduce any other movements that you feel is necessary for your body at this moment. So sometimes we like to draw big hip circles, lowering our hips down towards our heels. Always go in the opposite direction if you choose this motion. You can also make spirals with your spine, sort of like a spinal jump rope. Go in the opposite direction if you choose this. Something else that feels really good is just swaying your hips from side to side. It doesn't require as much effort, but it is very effective in waking up your spine and just putting a little bit of oil in your joints. You might like to stretch deeply into your forearms at this moment. And if that's the case, you'll turn your fingertips to point back towards your knees. Press down into the heels of your hands. Inhale for cow pose. Exhale, come into cat pose and hold it for a little bit longer, trying to seal the heels of your hands to the mat. You'll hold this for as long as you can bear. If you tried it and it doesn't feel good, turn the hands back around and just stick to regular cat-cow cycles. Always letting your breath be your guide. Couple more rounds. We're going to meet back in a neutral spine. Now we're in our neutral spine. Walk your hands forward about 3 inches. Step your right foot back and then your left to meet it. We're in our upward push-up plank pose. We're pressing down into the entire base of our palms, energizing the forearms towards each other, biceps forward, triceps back. Energize back through your heels. Spin your inner thighs up towards the sky. Lengthen through your chest and look straight down. In this pose, sometimes your ears want to fall down, so lift them up so that they're in line with your shoulders. And breathe. This is normally the point in my practice where that little voice in my head starts to tell me that I don't have the strength to continue. But if I listen to my breath instead, it tells me a completely different story. You're strong. You can do this. You've done it so many times before. You can do it again. We're here for 3 more breaths. Deep inhales through the nose. Long, slow exhales out the nose. If it becomes too much, lower your knees. We're going to shift our shoulders past our wrists. Exhale, lower down, pause halfway. Roll your shoulders back. The elbows are right over your wrists. Lower the knees if it's too much, chaturanga, and then bring yourself all the way down to the mat. Slide your hands back so that your thumbs are right next to your lower ribs, and then hug your elbows in, roll the shoulders back. Press down into all 10 toes, spin the inner thighs up towards the sky, lift your front hip points towards your lower ribs, and press your pubic bone down. Now squeeze the muscles in the middle of your back. Start to lengthen through the crown of your head to peel your chest off the mat on your inhale. Exhale, lower yourself back down, float the nose. And then inhale, keep all the power in your legs, slide the hands back, lift yourself into your cobra pose, and exhale, lower. Continue with this flow, inhaling to lift, exhaling to lower, squeezing the middle of your back as you do so, pressing the shoulder blades into your back. And then just notice that as you lift into your cobra pose, it might feel difficult to breathe. So send your breath into your rib cage, into your chest, into your upper back. There's always space to breathe. Very good. Lift yourself into cobra pose and hold, tuck the toes, lower your nose back down one more time. Inhale, press back into plank, and then lift your hips into downward facing dog. So in downward facing dog, press down into the entire base of your palms, especially the webbing between your thumbs and index fingers. Energize the forearms towards each other, biceps forward, triceps back, and then let the shoulder blades climb up the back away from the ears. Lift up high into the ball mounds of your feet, lifting your heels, bend your knees, and then send your tailbone as high up as it can go. Then you'll start to guide your heels back down towards the mat. Give your head a gentle nod yes, inviting some positivity into your day, and a little shake no, setting up healthy boundaries. Bend your right knee, send your left heel closer to the mat, and then bend your left knee, sending your right heel closer to the mat. And then just continue with this motion, pedaling out your feet, stretching into your hamstrings and your calves. Should feel really nice. And of course, if you don't feel like pedaling out your feet right now, you'd rather start to find some stillness, then go right ahead. This is your practice. Wherever you are, try and guide both heels down to the mat now. And then inhale, lift your heels, bend your knees, step both feet forward to the front of your mat. And then inhale, lift yourself up halfway. Bring your hands onto your thighs, hug your elbows in, roll the shoulders back, lengthen back through the tailbone and forward through the crown of your head. Exhale, come into your forward fold. Press down into all 3 corners of your feet, the ball mounds underneath your big toes and pinky toes and your heels. Lift your inner arches. If it's difficult for you to find that engagement of lifting your inner arches, shift a little more weight to the outer edges of your feet and hug the outer ankles in, squeezing the muscles around your shin bones. Have a little bit of a bend in your knees if you need, and then hug the outer hips in. Notice how that allowed you to find a little bit more length in your spine. Relax the shoulders all the way down to the hands. Relax the neck and just start to sway from side to side. You can linger over either leg at any point if it feels nice in the hamstring. Press down into your feet, reach your hands all the way up to the sky, big long body stretch, and then exhale, bring your palms to heart center, open at the side. I'm gonna guide a gentler version of Surya Namaskara A So follow along with me if you're newer to the practice. If you are familiar with Surya Namaskar A, then go ahead and take that on your own, tuning me out. Inhale, reach your hands up to the sky. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, fold, plant your palms, step your feet back, lower your knees. Inhale for cow pose. Exhale for cat pose. Inhale for cow pose. Exhale, tuck the toes, lift the hips, downward facing dog. Inhale, lift the heels, bend the knees, step both feet forward to the front of the mat. Inhaling, you lift halfway. Exhale, you fold. Press down into the feet, reach the hands all the way up to the sky. Exhale, palms come to heart center, open at the side. Once again, inhale, reach up, Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, fold forward, Uttanasana. Inhale, halfway lift, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, fold, Uttanasana. Step both feet back, lower the knees, inhaling for cow pose. Exhaling, cat pose. Inhaling, cow pose. Exhale, tuck the toes, lift the hips, downward facing dog. Inhale, lift the heels, bend the knees, step both feet forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Press down into the feet, reach your hands all the way up. Exhale, palms come to heart center, open at the side. Last time, inhale, reach up. Exhale, fold forward. Press down into the feet, halfway lift. Exhale, fold, plant the palms, step your feet back, lower the knees. Inhale, cow pose. Cow pose. Exhale, cat pose. Inhale, cow. Tuck the toes, lift the hips, downward facing dog. So stay here in your downward facing dog. We'll all meet here. Draw your right knee towards your face. Step your foot in between your hands. Drop the left knee down. With your hands framing your foot, scooch your right foot forward a little bit so the ankle is beyond the knee, and then sink your hips forward so that the knee is right on top of the ankle. Bring your hands onto your hips. You can choose to keep the back toes tucked or flatten them out to the mat. Send your right hip back, your left hip forward. Tilt your tailbone down and lift your front hip points. Reach your hands up towards the sky. If you reached your hands up and they're framing your face and you poked your front ribs out, engage your core, draw them in, and you might like to send your hands a little bit in front of your face. Shoulders come away from your ears and energize the hands towards each other. It's like you're holding two positive ends of a magnet towards each other. They never touch, but you can feel the energy. And now bring the palms to touch, bend the elbows, and draw the fingers down towards the mat. Press the shoulder blades into your back. Keep hugging the elbows in towards the face. If you like, you can tuck your back toes and straighten out the back leg, keeping your pelvis exactly as it is. Reach the hands back up, lower the left hand down next to the right foot and reach your right hand up towards the sky. Notice if your left hip dropped down, lift it back up so it's in line with the right, and then scoop your right glute underneath the right hip. Press down into the left hand and feel energy rebounding all the way up into your right fingertips, reaching up towards the sky. As you inhale, lengthen through the crown of your head. Exhale, engage your core and twist. Lower your right hand down. Step your left foot back, take a vinyasa, or just step right back to downward facing dog. Draw your left knee in towards your nose and step your foot in between your hands. Drop your right knee down to the mat. Keep your back toes tucked or flatten the toes out. Lengthen forward through your chest. Scooch your left foot forward so the ankle is beyond the knee, and then sink forward so that the knee is right over the ankles. Press down into your foot. Lift yourself up, hands on your hips at first. Send your left hip back, your right hip forward. Tilt your tailbone down, lift your front hip points. And this time we're going to interlace our hands behind our back, but take the odd interlace. So put whichever hand on top feels weird for you. Squeeze the elbows towards each other, a little bit of a bend. Press the shoulder blades into your back as you draw the knuckles down towards the ground. If you want to lift your gaze, you lengthen back through the crown of your head. Take expansive breaths into your rib cage. If you want to straighten this out, you're going to tuck your back toes, straighten out the back leg. Reach your hands back up. Exhale, lower your right hand down towards the mat, lifting your left hand up towards the sky. So keep your right hip in line with the left, scoop the left glute underneath the left hip, energize back through your back heel, and feel energy rebounding from your right hand all the way up to your left fingertips, extending up towards the sky. As you inhale, extend through the crown of the head. Exhale, engage the core and twist. Lower the left hand down, step back to your plank, take a vinyasa or skip, bringing yourself back to downward facing dog. Inhale, lift your right foot straight up towards the sky, your toes point straight down. Exhale, draw your knee towards your nose and step your foot in between your hands. Look back at your back foot, keep the toes right where they are, and pivot your left heel down so the back arch is in line with the front heel. Press down into the feet, windmill, lift yourself up into standing, Virabhadrasana 2, Warrior 2. So we're pressing down into our right foot, especially the heel, lifting the inner arch. The front toes point straight forward and your right knee is directly above your right ankle. Let your left hip come slightly in front of the right, lift your front hip points, press back into your left foot. Your hands are extended in line with your shoulders. The chest is square to the wall. Relax the shoulders away from your ears and gaze far beyond your front middle fingertips. Feel as though you could squeeze the mat together with the strength of your feet. And if you've lost your even inhales and exhales, take a moment to come back to them. Keep your legs exactly where they are. Reverse your warrior, reaching your right arm overhead. Your left hand can come either onto your left thigh or you wrap it around and press it into your right thigh. One inhale and exhale, straighten out your right leg, bring your hands onto your hips. You might like to step your back foot in a little bit of the way. Now we're going to lengthen up through the crown of our head. And as we exhale, we're going to bend at the hips forward, keeping our torso right in line with itself. Start to turn your chest open towards the sky. You may choose to stay right here, or you might like to lower your right hand lightly onto your shin, reaching the left hand up. You can also put your lower hand on the block. Press down into the ball mound underneath the right big toe. Wrap the inner right thigh out, little bit of a bend in the knee. Seal the outer edge of the left foot to the mat. Now hug your hips in towards the midline. Draw the left top ribs in, lengthen through the lower half of your torso, lifting the ribs towards your armpit. Gaze up towards the lifted hand, or you could always look down towards your foot. Trikonasana, triangle pose. Press down into your feet, engage your core, and lift yourself all the way back up to standing. Bring your hands onto your hips and step your left foot forward to meet the right. Your toes touch, your heels are slightly apart. You're going to squat down low and reach your hands up towards the sky. Now, once you come into this pose, look down. Did your knees go past your ankles? Press your shins back so they're right on top, and then try and squat down a little bit lower, tilting your tailbone down, lifting your heart. Your hands can be slightly in front of your face, energizing your hands towards each other. You might also like to bring your hands to the heart center. Utkatasana, fierce pose. Commonly, we refer to this pose as chair pose, but if someone were to ask you, are you a chair or are you fierce? I would always answer with, I'm fierce. Deep inhales, long, slow exhales. No matter how long you've been practicing yoga, this pose is always tough the first time you come into it. So if it's hard for you right now, don't be discouraged. It only becomes easier. Press down into your feet, lift yourself all the way up into standing, bring your hands onto your hips. Now shift a little bit more weight into your left foot, and then rotate your right hip to come onto your right toes and bring the sole of your foot onto either your ankle, your calf, or you're gonna lift it high up your leg onto your thigh. Press down into your base foot, squeeze the left hip in, bring the palms to heart center, and find an unmoving point of focus in front of you. your drishti. Once you found your balance, reach your hands up towards the sky, shoulders away from your ears, and breathe. Single leg balancing poses are good poses to practice whenever you find that you're having difficulties concentrating. They're also good poses to practice when you need to be a little bit kinder to yourself. If you fall out of the pose, just try again. Doesn't have to be today, you can do it tomorrow too. And step your right foot back down, shake out your left leg, and bring your hands onto your back. You can have the heels of your hands on your lower back and the fingertips on the tops of your glutes, hug the elbows in. If you want to stretch a little bit more into your arms, they'll flip the palms so that the heels of your hands are on your glutes and the tips of your fingers are on your lower back. Hug the elbows in, lift the front hip points, press the shoulder blades into your back, and start to lengthen through the crown of your head to lift your gaze. Once you're here, notice if you let your elbows open up to the side, keep hugging them in, keep pressing the shoulder blades into your back, and keep lengthening through the crown of your head. Upright your spine. If you feel a little lightheaded, you can bend your knees a couple of times. Inhale, reach your hands up to the sky. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Take your vinyasa or skip right back to downward facing dog. Inhale, lift your left foot straight up towards the sky, your toes point straight down. Exhale, draw the knee towards your nose. Step the foot in between your hands. Look back at your right foot. Keep the toes where they are and pivot your heel down to the mat so your back arch lines up with your front heel. Press down into the feet, windmill your hands up into standing. Virabhadrasana 2, Warrior 2 on the opposite side. So first, reestablish your connection with your breath. Deep inhales, long, slow exhales. Send your mind into your feet and feel the strength of your feet drawing the mat together. You feel this power in your legs and in your pelvic floor. Your right hip is slightly in front of the left, yet your chest is square to the wall in front of you. Relax the shoulders away from your ears. Reach the fingertips far to the side as though you're trying to touch the side walls. Gaze far beyond the left fingertips. Reverse your warrior, lift your left hand over your head, bringing your right hand onto either your right thigh or wrapping it around, pressing into your left thigh. Breathe deeply into your left side lung for an inhale. And an exhale, straighten out your left leg, bring your hands onto your hips. You might like to step your back foot in a little bit of the way. Inhale to lengthen through the crown of your head. Exhale, bend at the hips, keeping your torso parallel. So you might choose to keep your hands on your hips, lengthening through the crown of your head right here. You can still feel the stretch in your hamstring and the power in your legs. Or you're going to lower your left hand lightly onto your shin, reaching your right hand up towards the sky. If you have a block, you can also put your lower hand on that as well. Press down into the ball mount underneath your left big toe. Spin the inner left thigh out, little bit of a bend in your knee. Press back into your right foot. Hug the outer hips in. In every pose, there's always a balance of effort and ease. Trikonasana is a little bit tricky because it's easy for our minds to wander onto the things that are difficult when we're met with adversity. But if you can focus instead on the places that this pose feels good, the stretch in the lower back, the glute, and the hip, it makes it feel so much better. You might like the way it feels if you close your eyes and you smile. I certainly do. Very good, everybody. Lift yourself all the way back up into standing, engaging your core. Hands come back onto your hips. Bend your left knee and step your right foot forward to meet the left. Toes touch, your heels are slightly out. Squat down low, knees right over your ankles. Reach your hands up towards the sky. Energize the hands towards each other. See if you can sit down a little bit lower, lift your chest. Notice how much easier it is to do this pose now that we're doing it the second time around. Deep inhales through your nose, long, slow exhales out your nose. If you weren't feeling it before, maybe now you really do feel like a fierce warrior. Press down into your feet, reach yourself all the way back up to standing. Hands come onto your hips, shift a little more weight into your right foot and rotate your left hip so that you're on your toes. Draw your left sole of your foot onto your ankle, onto your calf, or high up your leg onto your thigh. Try and put it in the same place you put it on the opposite side. However, if it doesn't work for you on the same way on this side, then do it differently. You're pressing down into your right foot, hugging your right hip in. Find that unmoving point of focus. Once you found your balance, reach your hands up towards the sky. Vrikshasana, tree pose. As you focus on that single point and your breath, notice how your senses start to withdraw and sort of everything disappears except for this one thing that you're concentrating on. Step your left foot down, shake out your right leg. Inhale, reach your hands all the way up towards the sky. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Step both feet back into your plank. Lower yourself down halfway, chaturanga. Pause here, try and hold for 3 breaths. You can always lower your knees. And finally, lower yourself all the way down onto your belly. And we're gonna take Shalabhasana, and then we'll rest in Shavasana. So from here, bring your hands by your side, palms down, press your palms down into the mat, roll your shoulders back. Find the strength in your legs that we found in Cobra Pose earlier. So press all 10 toes down, spin your inner thighs up and lift your front hip points. Peel your chest off the mat using the strength of the middle of your back and lengthen through the crown of your head. So you can stay just like this. However, if you want to go further, you'll interlace your fingers at your tailbone, hugging the elbows in, and then lift the knuckles up towards the sky, peeling your chest even further off the mat. You can keep the legs down or extend so much back through the balls of your feet that you feel your legs start to lift off the mat. Deep breaths. When you're ready to let this go, try and take one more breath and then release. With the most minimal effort, roll yourself over onto your back. Allow the legs to come as wide as is comfortable for the body. The feet flop open. Bring your hands by your side, palm face up. If you haven't done so already, allow the eyes to soften and close. Relax the mind. Relax the body. Start first with the space in between your eyebrows. Feel the relaxing sensation trickle down your temples, down your neck. Press gently into your chest. Swirl down your arms. Brush the palms of your hands and extend out through your fingertips. Feel it as it travels down your sides, presses into your hips, swirls down your legs, brushes the tops of your feet, and extends out through the tips of your toes. Release into deep relaxation, Shavasana. Slowly start to bring some awareness back into your body, inviting subtle movement into your fingers and into your toes. We're going to start to transition into our meditative seat. So before you finally move yourself into that seat, just listen to the messages that your body is sending you. Today, your meditative seat might mean that you remain lying on your back. It might mean that you find a seat in a chair. You may like the way it feels to rest your back against the wall. And you may need to sit on top of something to just give your spine a little extra lift. So take about 90 seconds. Slowly transition with the most minimal effort possible to your comfortable seat. You come into this seat. This is a tricky time of the day. So if this is just the start of your day, you might like to have your palms face up on your thighs. If this is the middle of your day, you might like to have your hands folded in your lap. If this is the end of your day, you might like to have your palms face down on your thighs. And of course, it really doesn't matter what time of day it is. Whatever position feels best for your body is what you need to do right now. So as you come into this comfortable seat, start to bring some awareness back into your spine, sitting up tall, feeling equal space in front of the spine, behind the spine, to the right of the spine, and to the left of the spine. Feel equal length in the top half of the spine and the bottom half of the spine. And then just notice that although it requires effort to remain in this position, the body is still relaxed. Start to reestablish a connection with your breath. Slowly taking breath in through the nose, feeling the belly expand as you draw in breath, draw in prana. Feel the belly deflate as you expel the breath, expelling the prana. As you continue with these breaths, deep inhales through your nose, long, slow exhales out your nose. Allow the breath to become relaxed and smooth so that it is just as easy to draw the breath in through the nose and out through the nose. Allow the breath to become evenly inhaling and evenly exhaling. Feeling that the inhale lends itself directly into the exhale, and that the exhale lends itself directly into the inhale. Continue establishing this connection with your breath, focusing on keeping it even, drawing breath in through the nose and out through your nose for 1 minute. Keeping the awareness on your breath, your even inhales and exhales. Create a ring of golden light around your body. The ring may be close into your body. It may be further away. Could be large, could be small. This ring of golden light is a ring of protection, of healing, and support. As you inhale, sense, see, or just know that the light from the ring starts to lift upward towards the sky. With every inhale, notice that the light draws further and further upward, surrounding your body in a column of light. You're visualizing that column of light, yet your focus still resides on keeping the breath even. No matter where that column of light is now, it might not be surrounding your entire body. On this next inhale, draw that light all the way up, and then draw your attention to the nasal opening in both nostrils. feeling the breath as it enters the nose, feeling the breath as it exits the nose. And as you draw in breath, feel the light from this column accumulating into two balls of light underneath each nostril. With every inhale, drawing more light, building the balls even larger. Continue for 1 minute. On your next inhale, you'll draw these two balls of light in through the nose and feel them combine at the third eye center. As you exhale, the light comes back out your nose in an inverted V shape. The light reaccumulates into the two balls underneath your nostrils. You breathe them back in through the nostrils in the inverted V, allowing them to reaccumulate into a single light at the third eye center. Continuing with this pattern, exhaling in the inverted V, inhaling, reaccumulating the light at the third eye. You may be able to see the light or feel the light or sense a vibration. As you inhale this next time, allow the light to remain at the third eye center. With every inhale, the light grows bigger within the head space, accumulating more and more light with every inhale. You may be able to feel the vibration of Om. You may be able to see the light emanating through the forehead in front of your eyes. And then as you inhale, draw that light back into the midbrain and let it reside there for a few breaths. Feeling the warmth of the light, feeling the vibration of the light. Now as you inhale, slowly, as slow as you need, draw that light down the spinal column towards the heart center, allowing it to clear away any blockages that it may face along the way. You may find it goes down relatively easy. You may find you need to take more inhales to allow it to fully rest at the heart center. Take as many breaths as you need over the next minute to allow that light to finally reside at the heart center. Hold your awareness at your heart center. And now, as you draw in prana through the nose and exhale out the nose, feel the light building, accumulating more and more outward from the heart center, filling up your entire being. Every inhale, the light grows. Every exhale, it rests. Inhaling, the light grows. Exhaling, it takes a pause. Eventually, this light will fill your entire body, feeling it all the way down to your toes, your legs, up the torso, through the arms, into the fingers, up through the heart center, into the midbrain, the third eye, into the crown of the head. Feel this light filling up your entire body. Keep the awareness at your heart center. You're going to ask yourself a question and listen for the first thing that you hear. That question is, where does my true power lie? When you hear the answer, feel the light starting to emanate from beyond the barriers of your skin and dwell in its warmth. If you'd like to remain dwelling in the light, stay for as long as you like. But when you're ready, just know that we are going to begin to transition back into awareness. You'll draw the palms to your heart center, rub the palms together, building heat. When you feel as though you've built enough heat in your palms, you'll bring the hands onto your eyes, taking a deep inhale, breathing the warmth in through the palms of the hands, in through the eye sockets, tracing that warmth throughout every fiber of your body. And then you'll slowly remove the hands from your eyes, bringing the palms back to your heart center, pressing your chest into your thumbs, bowing the head towards the lifted heart. The light in me honors and sees that same light that resides in you. Namaste.